Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show where I recap the week. Let you know what's going on in Arizona real estate. We kind of thought not a lot of changes coming, and then war broke out. So, not laughing about the war, but like I said on a Thursday night show, there's always a dark cloud somewhere, and you never know when it's going to open up. And it opened up while we were doing the Thursday afternoon live stream. And at the end of the show, I told Pat, I go, boy, we didn't have as many people watching us as we normally do. And then I look at the news and I go, oh, now I know why. Who's going to watch us? They're all watching the news network, seeing what's going on between Israel and Iran. So what's the effect going to be on real estate? I don't know. But it is forecast season now, and not really forecast season. It's what I call re-forecast season. Because all the big dogs and data people, they come out and go, okay, here's what next year is going to be like. And then all year, about every quarter, they go, okay, let's revise it. Let's revise it. And it's never accurate, but it's fun to look at. But it seems to be all over the map now. Now, the forecast I'm going to show you is national. So, and then I'll show you where we are in Arizona compared to these forecasts. Start with what the headline here says, housing market forecast, what the second half of the year could bring. Some of it's kind of confusing. So they're looking at Fannie Mae, Zillow, NAR, Mortgage Bankers Association, Cotality, former CoreLogic. Now, I didn't know they changed their name to Cotality, and I also know that CoreLogic has not been very accurate over the years. Home Price Expectation Survey. So, survey says Cotality, CoreLogic, says up 4.3% nationally, followed by Fannie Mae. And down here, here's HPES, which is also says Fannie Mae there. NAR, National Association of Realtors, they're usually pretty optimistic. MBA up 1.3 and Zillow down 1.4. And that is nationally. Now that's going to be 1.4 for the year, and where we are is we're sitting here at up 2.5. And based on what I'm seeing at prices right now is I think us being down 1.4 is probably very realistic. Now, I'm looking at a chart here that shows annual appreciation based on annual price per square foot. If you were to look at how we did the first quarter, there's a bigger drop than just saying that we're down 2.5% for the year. So we are dropping. Now, existing home sales, they're saying here. NAR, again, the eternal optimists are saying it's going to be up 6%. Fannie Mae says we're going to be up 4.4. Zillow says 1.4. Looking in Arizona, we're going to be flat. I mean, we are hugging 2024 numbers. It's just frightening how close it is. Week after week, we're following those numbers. And so I don't see us beating last year. I don't see us being below last year. I just see at the end of the year for Arizona, we're going to be flat. So probably closer to Zillow's projections than in the other guys. I wish they do on state by state, but they usually don't. And here's the mortgage forecast. This probably isn't that far off. MBA says 6.6, NAR says 6.4, Fannie Mae says 6.1, looking towards the end of the year. So the prognosticators of YouTube saying that we're going to be at 5.5 this summer because central bank's going to lower the rates in June. Well, it's June. This is the week they meet. Ain't happening, folks. And even if they did, we wouldn't see mortgage rates go down. So mortgage rates are not going to be hitting that low time. Now, there is something funny here I want to show you. Tina Tambour is our market analyst for the Conference Report. She's got a great sense of humor. In fact, people like going to her presentations because they learn a lot, but they also laugh a lot. She's very smart. And she's the one that puts out this chart and with the commentary down below. And now this is included in my newsletter here. You get it on Monday mornings, and you can also see her commentary. So I won't go over the whole thing here. I just encourage you to go down, look at the link, and download it. It's very easy. Get it Monday morning at 7 o'clock, and you can pull out your phone and look at this chart and read the numbers. I will point out that Chandler still continuing to decline, down to 111. On the index, Gilbert, it's at 93, and Buckeye and Maricopa are the bottom dwellers. But the thing that made me chuckle here was the comment here, and I'm just going to read it because it's hard for you to see it on the screen here. New listings are arriving at about 8,200 per 4-week period. This is down significantly from the levels of February through May, when well over 10,000 were arriving every 4 weeks. We were almost down to the same level of new arrivals at this time last year. Remember, it's just mirroring week after week to last year. This has eased the situation, and the Cromford Supply Index is starting to fall back just a little. Demand remains below normal, and I'm seeing that. We're down to about 2,800 contracts over a 7-day period versus 3,000, so it's down just a little bit. Gets a little bit worse in July. While inventory is plentiful, though not unusually so, supply is low compared to 2006, 2011. I'm going to show you that as well. So any comparisons with this period are highly dubious, despite the claims of some of the misguided video bloggers. Here's the funny part. She says, "I'm looking at you, Nick Gearley." That's Reventure Consulting. So she called him out. You know, you get these hollers that we've reached these record highs on listings. Not here. In fact, here's a headline that, again, and those of you that follow me, you know, when I look at a headline, I get down to the meat of the article and say, well, what are they really saying? And here's one that just kind of makes you go, huh. Home sellers face harsh new reality as listings hit a record $698 billion in value. Well, keep in mind that they're not talking about the number of homes that are on the market. They're talking the total value of the homes that are on the market. They finally admit it further down here, saying, in total, the value of homes in the U.S. rose 20.3% from a year ago, reaching a record $698 billion. Okay, so in other words, home prices went up, inventory went up, so the number of homes that are out there, there's more of them, and they're of higher value. So the headline, that's why we have a high value of $698 billion. Doesn't mean that we have an alarming number of listings that are out there. Now, if we look at new listings per year to date here, this kind of tells the story. I pulled up 2008, 2009. We're this little light purple line right there. And then these other two lines above are what kind of inventory we were seeing. This is new listings. Now, the new listings were coming on. They were not getting gobbled up. Today, we've got new listings coming on, and we're running about 100%. So we had 2,800 new listings this week. 2,800 went under contract, so it's a wash. Not so back then. Look at new listings, 65,670. Now, if I go to, here's one of the culprits here, is interest rates, 6.89, trending a little negative today, and mostly because of the turmoil in the Middle East. It's uncertainty. Our active listings went down. They will flatten out Monday morning, kind of hang about here, and I expect them to kind of dip ever so slightly. Not too much going forward, but I don't see a lot of changes. Now, if I look at here, this is our extremes, folks. And you can see that our active listings, the most we've ever had in October 2007, 58,334. The lowest in 2022, 8,172. Typical, 26,470. Typical or average. Well, where are we today? 26,000. So the headlines that say that we have excess inventory, highest in years, that's true, because there was nothing out there in 2020, nothing out there in 2021, excuse me, the first part of 2022. So that is true as we rushed up to what is our average number of homes on the market. Now, sales per month, 7-day average was 10,500. That's the highest in 2019, what we call pre-pandemic levels. A lot of people like compare to what it was like before things went south of the pandemic. Average monthly sales, right, in days on the market, 73. That's where we are today. Months of supply average is, well, look back here, 20 months back in 2008. 20 months of supply. We were adding the listings. They weren't getting gobbled up. So we ended up with 20 months of supply. The average, 4.2. Where are we at today? 3.7. Low, 0.9. in 2005, May of 2005. That's a little surprising, huh? Pending listings, let's see, monthly square foot, annual sales, appreciation. All of this is pointing towards average. Even our listing success rate, our average 69.3, that's about where we're at now. I think we're about 64. So we're not seeing any extremes in our market right now that warrant any kind of big headlines. And like I said right here, this is our months of supply. So always be aware of the headlines. Now, looking ahead to next week, we're expecting some data and announcement by the central bank. There's 93% chance that they're not going to move 1 inch off their target rate right now as far as where they want to be because of uncertainty. And well, we just had uncertainty thrown at us like a big bucket of cold water yesterday. I'm recording this on a Friday, and Thursday night was when all the ruckus started. So that just, you talk about uncertainty, we don't know what's going to happen. The bond market hasn't reacted to it, though. Kind of, sort of. Stock market has, but they're not using the bond market as a flight to safety, so which would normally bring rates down. The bond traders, they're sitting back, sitting on their hands and waiting, and that's kind of been the story of what's going on in our market. As we look at next week, I don't expect a whole lot to change. I do not expect listings to increase. I do not expect sales to increase. And I know we're looking at this a week at a time, and it really doesn't make that much difference on the total scheme of things. But as we limp through this summer with low volume, it's worth noting that if we do see a change in a particular week, to keep an eye on it and go, is this unusual? Is this a change? I don't subscribe to the fact that, because real estate prices are not going up, that's bad. Realtors get hit with that all the time. Oh, you just want prices to go up all the time. We manage you through the minefield, which is regulations on the transaction. I don't care if home prices are going up or down. It doesn't mean anything to me. You want to sell your house? Let me help you. Let my team help you. You want to buy a house? Let my team help you. Do we want you to buy a house and then see it go down in value immediately? Well, of course not. But, you have to understand that that's a possibility. I mean, I saw some statistics, again, by Nick saying, oh my gosh, look at condos and townhomes. Look how many people are upside down that bought in 2022 and 2023. Well, if you were hoping to turn around and get a bunch of equity in a 2 to 3 year period, you started off on the wrong foot anyway. This isn't the first time that people end up looking and going, well, I guess I bought a little late or a little early, and I end up owing more than what the house is worth. Well, if you're not selling, don't worry about it. Put it away like a 401k. Enjoy your spot. If you like it there, hang in there. Things always turn around. Sometimes they turn around quickly. Sometimes they take more time. But just because a house is upside down doesn't mean, honey, we got to sell the house. We're upside down. Unless you and her got divorced, then you're in big trouble. So I just don't take those kind of statistics and go, okay, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. A lot of people are upside down. There's always been periods where people are upside down on their mortgages, and you just kind of wait it out and see what happens. Doesn't feel good. You don't like looking at your 401k and going, oh my goodness, but don't treat your house like a 401k. Don't treat it like the stock market. You bought the house for a reason. You wanted to live there. You wanted to have a dog. Now, condos and townhomes, a whole different situation. They're going through some rough times right now. So if you were going to try and use that as a stepping stone, and I made that mistake in the 80s, I'll buy this condo. It'll go up in value. I'll sell it. It'll help me get into a house. Stupid math. It didn't work. That little stepping stone that I was going to do over a year took 10 years to get out from underneath that condo. I had to rent it. 10 years. I put down $3,400 to buy that little one-bedroom unit. 10 years later, I sold it, and I got a big fat check worth $3,400. See, I teased you. I thought I was going to get $3.4 million. Nope, $3,400. 10 years later. So sometimes it doesn't always work out. Now I rented it. I was able to get some good tax write-offs and all that stuff. Rode out the storm. In the meantime, bought a house. Everything worked out okay, but it was scary times for a while. So people in the condo and townhome market, yeah, they're shaking their boots. Is it going to disrupt our whole market? Nope, you won't even feel it. That's my opinion. If you have any questions, shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com. Take care.